It's your boy JCP, representing Witness Richness, and today you're rocking with McGriff.
The block hot, the block hot, the block hot, the block hot. Hey, hey, I got the block hot.
So I started off just investing in real estate, but now I consider myself an entrepreneur. My first property was a 3-family. That made me $1,000 per month in cash flow. That was the first one I bought back in 2016. From that time to now, I've bought and sold over 8 homes in the New Bedford area. All the homes that I purchased are cash flowing homes, meaning that every property that I would buy would give me a certain amount of money left over after all the expenses are being paid. It usually ranges between $1,200 and $2,000 per month cash flow on each building. I also invested in a hair salon from my hometown in Brockton. That one has a projection of making about a couple $1,000s a month in cash flow as well. It's all a cash flow game for me. But again, it started off as just real estate, and now it's into hair salons, and I also have my property management company as well. All right, so this is my first investment property here. I purchased it in New Bedford back in 2017. It's a 6-family building. I bought it for $175,000. Right now, the market, it's worth about $300,000. I already sold it, but it was a great deal, and I was super excited when I found, again, a 6-family for $175,000 back in 2017. So it's not really about how it all began, it's about when it all began. I grew up on public housing, so I had a landlord, and I realized this landlord would come over all different times of the day, and he had this big pickup truck. His name was Peter, and if you happen to see this video, Peter, this is because of you, man. So his name was Peter, and he came by all the time in his pickup truck with his 2 kids, his 2 sons. And they would get out the truck and start going all the property and just clean up the yard, raking up the leaves. And I just noticed him like all throughout the day, all different times, coming around and just doing whatever he wanted, it seemed like. So I think realizing there was somebody who was successful, at least my perception of him at that point in time was that he was successful. And seeing that lifestyle and seeing that freedom, I guess it always resonated with me. So when I got to the point where I had a corporate 9-to-5 job and I was making $100,000 a year, and I go home and my daughter would say, "Hey Dad, how was work?" And it seemed like every single day I'm telling her, work was work, work was work. And it's just like, at some point you realize that you're literally trading your life for a paycheck. So I think seeing that lifestyle at the age of 10 years old is where it all began, because I just could not be content unless I had a lifestyle similar to my landlord, which fast forward 10, 15 years later, that's what I do. Me being a businessman, what excited me was how I got into the property, how I leveraged my credit to get into the property, and how I bought the property with no money down. That's the story that excites me. The fact that I was an owner and I purchased it is just, I guess it's part of the game, but the strategy behind it, putting together, the funds and putting together the deal, structuring the deal, from making the purchase, from making the offer, to getting money back at the closing table. Just the whole infrastructure behind putting the deal together is what excites me talking about it. 3 years ago, when I was 27 years old, I left my full-time job. I was making $100,000 a year at that time. My budgets and my savings habits were terrible. So I came to realize that I only needed to make $3,000 per month to live. I only needed $3,000 a month, not the $100,000 per year job that was taking all my time and energy. I only needed $3,000 a month to come in. So I pretty much got 2 rental properties that totaled $3,000 a month in cash flow. With that cash flow, it allowed me to leave my job. Boom, just 2 rental properties, and I'm financially free. Not rich by any means, but financially free. And at that point in time, I had a lot more time to spend on developing myself, which is coming in full circle. So again, this property right here I purchased with credit cards, right? I leveraged my personal credit and received $35,000 in business credit, converted the business credit to cash, used it for a down payment on this property. 6 months later, the property appreciated. I raised the rent, it was worth more money. I pulled out a cash out refinance, paid back the credit cards, had a nice little check, and still owned the property. About a year later, I found other opportunities to get into another property, so I ended up selling this one and taking out another like 80 grand on top of that. So, real estate, being invested in real estate and looking for these opportunities, it's always like, assets you can hold on to and ready to leverage and sell and trade whenever you need to. So owning property, owning real estate is a huge key to wealth and success building, or building wealth, I should say. In my opinion, a couple of things that are holding people back from reaching financial freedom is, first and foremost, the lack of financial literacy. Really understanding the US dollar, really understanding how the money system works. And also really understanding assets and liabilities. You know, a lot of us have more liabilities than assets. It's a very simple solution. You know, you acquire more assets, and then you trade less time for money, and you start acquiring wealth. But more than that, I mean, it's going to be the knowledge, right? Because to build those systems, you have to understand how the systems work. And there's tax strategies into it. There's, you know, ways to go about acquiring assets. I'm going way far off topic. I'm trying to keep this kind of simple. But the lack of financial literacy would be one of the main factors holding people back from reaching financial freedom. And in my opinion, the biggest thing is a lot of people aren't setting out a goal to receive financial freedom. And if you do, you're not putting the right steps in action, like the intent to reach financial freedom. And if you're going to school to come out to receive a job, even if it's a high-paying job, that job may not give you financial freedom. And in my opinion, financial freedom is you can go where you want, do where you want, and your bills will still be paid, right? When you reach that level, that's like you're financially free to do whatever you choose. So I associate financial freedom with a number, right? It's a specific number that you need to maintain a lifestyle. On my YouTube channel, Witness Richness, I actually have a video called How to Calculate Your Financial Freedom Number. And the idea is you total up all of your living expenses on a month-to-month basis, and you find out exactly what that number is, multiply it times 25% for a buffer, and that's what it is. So I speak a lot on my channel when I do talk about real estate, about, you know, doing your due diligence. And once I mastered the due diligence and understanding how to analyze a property, I expanded fast. Within 18 months, I bought 30 rental units, all in the same market. It was a winning strategy, a winning formula, and it kept working. So the window was open. All around the same area, within 5 minutes of each other, were all the properties. So right down the street, I'm gonna drive to the next one. And I showed this one before on my channel as well. But this is it right here. So this is another 5-family. And I purchased that one recently. This was more recent. It wasn't part of, you know, that massive expansion back in 2017 when I first jumped into real estate. The reason why I started my YouTube channel, I've been waiting for that question because I'm really passionate about my channel. Again, I come from a poverty-stricken background. Not saying that I wasn't a happy child, I didn't have a blessed childhood, just that financially, you know, we weren't making a lot of money. My mother was not making a lot of money. So we had restrictions. And in those restrictions, you live in areas where other people have restrictions. And then what happens is in these areas, there's a huge lack of information and there's a lack of resources. So someone like myself, growing up, there's 3 things that were exposed to me. It was a police officer, a doctor, or a lawyer. Outside of that, I had no idea what I wanted to do or who I wanted to become. In high school, I was actually trying to become a correctional officer. And I don't know where my life would have been if I took that route, but I tried endlessly. I took several exams. I had 97s and 98s, and I just could not get on. But I did not see anybody like myself at that point in time. And what I mean is the version of myself that I am today. When I was a 16-year-old kid, when I was an 18-year-old kid, I didn't see that. All I seen was just go to school, get a job, go to school, work, 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 work. When I left high school, I was working 60, 80 hours a week until I was 27 years old. Seriously, I had my first child when I was 16 and my second child when I was 22. Work never stopped. And I was bad with money. So it was just work, 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 work. But it was a long journey to that point. But somewhere along my journey, I stumbled across a lot of information when it comes to just personal finances, when it comes to just life in general, physically, mentally, spiritually. I came into a lot of information, and I felt like the information that I'm coming into that's helping my life and helping me grow and helping me expand myself, there's a lot of people who come from areas where I come from that are not exposed to this information. And half the reason is because they really can't relate with anybody. They can't identify themselves as that person. So it's like, I feel like now that's me. And I'd love to be that person who, a lot of times when I make my content, I feel like I'm talking to the 16-year version of myself, and I'm helping that person grow into becoming a man. I don't know how you want to take that, but I just feel like there's information that I've come across, and I just have to share it with as many people as possible. So 2019, first thing you can think of is what? YouTube, social media platform. And that was the whole reason why I started the channel. Over there, there's a blue home, that blue home on the right. That was my first seller finance deal. That was a 6-family. I bought that one for $250,000. I had put down $25,000. Now, mind you, that's $25,000 down payment to buy a 6-family building. That's a steal, okay? So I bought the building for $250,000. Cash flowed it like $1,500 a month for about a year and a half, and sold it for over $350. It just literally happened fast, so fast, and I'm still kind of catching myself from how fast it happened. And I preach this on my channel a lot. So right over here is another 6-family building, and I purchased this one right here for $185,000. Again, 6-family building for $185,000. The property now is worth over $280,000. We can go in this one. Now, when it comes to financial freedom, it is relative to everybody, right? It's relative to your own lifestyle. Because again, if I say that, to me, financial freedom means you don't have to have a job, you don't have to trade your time for money, and all your life expenses are taken care of. If your life expenses are nearly nothing, then you have financial freedom. You may not be rich by any means, but financial freedom is going to be determined by your lifestyle and what your expenses are. You say my rent, my taxes, my insurance, my this, my that, all added up equals $3,500 a month. Then you need to make sure you're making $3,500 a month in residual income, and then you're financially free. I mean, that's it. And if your expenses are $2,000 a month, then there goes your formula. So again, part of the game here when it comes to real estate and dealing with tenants is you will have evictions, you will have move-outs, you will have apartments that are left pretty much trashed, and get used to being able to rent these. What I would tell a young aspiring entrepreneur is be ready to work, right? Be ready to grind. Things will get difficult, things will be challenging, but every step of the way, you're looking to expand yourself, and it's not gonna stop. When I was younger, I considered myself a hustler. Now, I consider myself an entrepreneur. The difference is you're building a business and building relationships versus just getting to that bag. And look to keep leveling up. Don't become content or comfortable at any level. Just keep on leveling up in all different areas of your life, spiritually, mentally, physically, and of course, right, financially. I mean, that's what I would tell the young entrepreneurs. Keep leveling up. So this building here, it being all 2-bedroom apartments, I pretty much said I can rent each unit for $700 a piece. So $700 times 6 units would be $4,200 per month in cash flow, or $4,200 per month in rent collected. And then you figure out what the mortgage would be and the expenses are, and you kind of backtrack from there. Now again, buying the property for $180,000 or $185,000 and putting down a down payment of 20%, the mortgage was like $700 a month, and then the potential rent roll was $4,200 a month. So it was a easy situation. It was an easy decision to jump into this property, even though I'm still kind of dealing with evictions and stuff like that. But it's a long-term play. The first property that I purchased, if you look right down the street, I'm not sure if the camera can catch that, but it's the yellow house at the end of this street. That was the first one. It was actually the same real estate agent who was selling this one. So pretty much got into negotiations with him. We pinpointed the price for $185. And at that point, I didn't even have the funds, but it was about how am I gonna come up with the money. So I ended up saving $20,000 from collecting rents on that property. And then I used a small business loan for the other $30,000. And I pretty much put those two together and made a down payment to buy this property. So really, it was kind of just built all off leveraging my personal credit. And within 6 months, again, I pulled the cash out refinance. I replenished my $20,000 that I put into it and paid back that business loan and kept the property with the cash flow. So it's just simple numbers. So we're heading over to one of the investment properties I have on the market right now. It's up for sale. This is a 5-unit building. It's actually one of my favorite properties. It's all done up. You know, it's all 1.5 bedrooms on its upper levels, and then the first floor has a 4-bedroom apartment. The rent roll is strong. The property has been recently renovated, new roof, new electrical, new plumbing. So this is one of the properties that I have here on the market right now. Again, right now I'm liquidating 2 of my assets. I just want to have some cash on hand for 2 reasons. Not only because of how the coronavirus has impacted the U.S. economy, but just because of the fact that I do feel like the economy has been riding a wave on the way up, and there may be a little deflation, maybe some opportunities to purchase some small businesses or properties at a discount, depending on where the economy goes. So again, selling 2 of these properties just to have some cash on hand and get liquid. This green property right here is another one of mine that I have under sales agreement. I'm selling that one towards the end of the month. So as of now, I'll be selling those 2, having some cash on hand, and just riding things out from there. Always looking for the next investment though. And now that I have the cash on hand, I'll be ready for it. So as far as being an investor, it was definitely a lot of ways to make money, and it feels good making money. But what feels better is actually helping other people, achieve their goals through real estate as well. And just not only through real estate, but personal development, which is why I have the platform Witness Richness. And, it's me building, not just money-wise, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and of course financially. But right now, focusing on the finances, there's multiple ways to get money in real estate. Buying, hold, and buying, flipping is just 2 of them. So what you've seen earlier today was the buy and hold properties. This is one of the buy and flip properties. So in 5 years, I don't have every single vision defined as I probably should. I speak a lot about 5-year plans. But at this point, I'll most likely be living somewhere tropical, or at least somewhere where the weather is nice. I'm not a fan of the snow, even though I lived in New England all my life. But financially free and no longer focused on money. So this is a single family property in New Bedford. The after repair value, which is the ARV, is estimated at $150,000. We purchased this property for $75,000, and the rehab budget, how much money we expect to fix this property, or how much money we expect to put into this money to fix it, is about $30,000. So that's going to be $105,000 for the purchase price and the rehabs. And then by the time we sell it, we should profit $45,000. So come take a look. This was a pretty straightforward operation here. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, about 1,000 square feet, single family. So flooring, paint, base trim, window trim, baseboard heating. The electrical was updated. And we did a lot of updating to the plumbing as well. The windows are already in place. So we're still on budget with this property, but we're not on time. We're about 6 months past due on this property. Reason being, we still haven't got permits from the city to finish the exterior and do the porch work. So now we're just waiting on the city to give us those permits, and then we'll get this property on the market and get it sold. This is just simple business, numbers, due diligence. Which is one of the main reasons why I now offer one-on-one coaching, because I feel like we make things like this seem unattainable. And owning real estate, having a couple $100,000 equity, I just feel like coming from where I come from, at one point my thought process, it was unattainable. And I had a limiting belief. And one of the reasons why I started coaching, offering coaching, is because I believe that we all have limiting beliefs, and we don't actually understand how much they're affecting our lives. And we have untapped potential that I would like to help you reach. So make sure you guys check me out. Go on YouTube right now and subscribe to my channel, Witness Richness. Connect with me on Instagram, Witness Richness. It's a journey, and I'm inviting you, Let's grow together. But it's been real. This is your boy JCP once again representing Witness, Richness. And today you're rocking with McGriff.